to navigating the overcoming uniqueness of growth and healing. You are enough. There is power in you. You are enough. Are you ready to use the power that's inside of you? You are enough. Today you know you was always enough. Yes. We had a moment when we didn't have the confidence to be as bold and secure that we are now. You are enough. Yes, we had moments when we settled for that relationship that we weren't supposed to be in because it was toxic or not. How are we doing? Welcome to the Power in Your Voice. And I am your host, Dr. Sheena Godine. And today we have Mr. Ron Harding in the building. So can you tell the people who you are and pronounce your name correctly? Because I sadly messed it up.
All right. Well, my name is Ron Harding, and I'm a minister, but I also worked in the technology sector for about 25 years. And currently I've been the CTO of a global nonprofit for the last 18 years. Formerly before that, I worked for a media company that served Facebook, MySpace, Disney, MTV, BET, Clear Channel with all the radio stations. And so I was a consultant for all those companies at their live events and whatnot. So that's what I've been doing. And I just wrote a book called Hidden Talent: How to Build a Six-Figure Income Without a Degree, Certifications, or any kind of experience.
So let's break into what made you decide to write that book. What made you decide to, after doing all those things, become an author?
Yeah, well, my father was a business owner, and he was one of the most awarded Black businessmen of Southern California in the 80s. And I watched how he took care of his employees and built them up. He always raised people up from within the company and whatnot. And as I got into the technology world, I took that into my management style. And I have a whole host. I would say about 100 ex-employees that I hired at $10 an hour that now make in upwards of 150, 200,000, and a couple of them even in the $300,000 range in their careers. And when I became a minister and I went into the nonprofit world, I began to teach these life skills to our congregation. I didn't feel good about people paying me, but not giving back what I could give back to boost their lives. And so that is a program that's been accepted in our global network and has been taught in about 70 countries on all 6 populated continents. And it's helped thousands of people get better jobs. And so I just decided this year it's time to make it a book and do it more than within my church global network and give it to the rest of the world. So
amazing. And what did you say? Didn't you say y'all hit #1 today?
Yes, today we just hit #1 in career guides on Amazon, and we're just in the very early phases of our soft launch, and then we'll go into hard launch in the 27th, and that's where we're really going to kick ads and all that stuff in. So it should be a really big hit.
I love it. So what gems could you, because we all trying to figure out how to make those 6 figures, especially without a degree. So what gems could you give the audience on, how could they change their lives in their career?
Yeah, well, my classes are entitled 6 Steps to 6 Figures. And the 6 steps are very straightforward. The first step is to develop a powerful personal perspective. And we call that the Lincoln mindset. And we do that because Lincoln, in his lifetime, had no more than 12 months of education his entire life. And he became an attorney, a congressman, president of the United States, and one of the most revered presidents of all time. And so it takes a powerful personal perspective if you're going to go big in your career. And then number 2 is I call it powerful personal planning. And we entitle it the Washington work ethic. We're taking the theme of our country and our revolution and things like that. And that is the talent of just meticulously planning what you want to do, what skills you need to build, and plotting out a full career path for yourself that leads to that 6-figure income. And then step number 3 is to craft a revolutionary resume. And I think that's kind of the core of the program, which is in doing the resume, you have to pitch yourself to employers. And many of the most common techniques on resumes just simply don't work. And it's why people don't feel the need to understand that is the most important document in your life, really. And people don't spend very much time on it, nor do they view it as a sales pitch. And so you've got to brand yourself and sell yourself in the resume in the top 1/3 of the page. And if you don't do that, then you're in the trash. And I was a hiring manager for 25 years. So that is a huge thing. But it also says to the company what your mindset is as an employee, what you're bringing to the table. And if your resume doesn't convince them you're going to bring enough to warrant a six-figure income, then you'll never get there. And so I teach people how to present themselves in that way. And with that, step number 4 is a powerful personal presentation. Learning to present yourself well on the resume and writing, in an interview, in personal setting, but then also in business etiquette and how to conduct yourself in meetings, how to sit in an annual interview and make sure you get the raise you deserve, and that you fight for the increases and the promotions that you're supposed to get. And then the last 2 steps are emotional mastery, because you won't hold it all together without that. And then concrete character, which is the bedrock of your reputation. So those are the 6 steps and the gems that I give to people in how to make it in that career. So,
I love it. So
right.
tell me, on this journey of writing this project, how
Yes.
and what did you learn about yourself during the midst of this? Because when you write, you tend to learn some things. Life
Oh,
is a
yeah.
lesson. So what do you
Oh,
feel
yeah.
you learned during this process about yourself?
Yeah. Well, I have published a few books already. I have one book that's been published in 13 languages and been on sale since 2018. The thing that I learned through this process more than anything is, as much as I understand operations and employees and how to train a workforce and things like that, I don't know anything about sales. I don't know anything about sales, marketing, how to do that on Amazon. And we use ClickFunnels in terms of the website, and how to use that has been crazy. And so I've really learned the value of outsourcing because it's just not my skill set. And I'm getting better at it, but I've met some great people along the way. But I've learned I need to take on those skills. As I teach people to work on their skills, those are the ones that I've been working on in writing my book as well.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
in this journey, since we're focusing on how to become a six figure,
hmm
like what do you feel was your biggest success so far?
My biggest success so far, honestly, my biggest success is my students. I've been doing this program for free for over since 2017. And my students are my heart. I love them. And it's so awesome to see somebody in the program. We have those 6 courses that I do. I do them live, and I have recordings of them. Some people I give the recordings. Some people go when I go live with the classes. But then I do a 2-hour session with them, doing their resume with them. And in that 2-hour session, I'm not just teaching them how to do a resume. I'm teaching them how to be an employee. I'm teaching them how to be the kind of employee that every person would want to hire. I'm giving them transferable skills that work in every industry. One of the pinnacles was in 2024 here. I was driving cross country, and one of my students, no, it's not one of my students, one of my friends called me and he said, "Hey, I lost my job 8 months ago, and nobody was responding to my resume. And I searched the phrase, how do I get someone to respond to my resume?" And he said, "And your courses came up online." And so I went and took your courses. I've known this guy since 2008. And he said, "I did everything that your course said. I revamped my resume. I took on all the things that I need to be as an employee and add." And he said, within 4 days, I had 15 interviews. And within 2 weeks, I landed the best job of my life. And that's when it hit me. I need to make this a book. And so, but the transferable skills, I think, are the most powerful thing out of all of it. In 2024, LinkedIn put in their most in-demand job skills. And these are really cool. It's not exactly what people think, because they spend more time on other things typically.
Right.
Communication is the number 1 skill. Customer service is the number 2 skill. Leadership, project management, analytics, teamwork, sales, problem solving is one of the top skills. Research is one of the top skills. And the top skill of the moment above all others, they didn't even put it in the 10, they just categorized it by itself, is adaptability. And as I wrote my book and I wrote my story and everything that goes along with this, I realized like we got all done with the writing and we were in the editing, and I went, oh my gosh, every one of those skills is in my book. And I said, we've got to edit the book now. And the publisher, I use a company called Bestseller Publishing, and they've been amazing. And they said, this is so big, we're not even going to charge you for these. It's going to really make the book, that your book matches in the moment the most in-demand job skills. And then in further research, I found they have actually been the most in-demand job skills almost entirely for the last 15 years. And so, and I think the other more powerful thing about the book is, because I'm a minister, I wrote my classes with scriptures, but I was also a philosophy major. And in doing so, I went and researched these teachings in all the other religions, all 5 of the world's 5 top religions. And every one of these things exists in the teachings of all the world's top 5 religions. And so not as it only the most in-demand skills that people learn, this is a timeless teaching that has always existed since man began writing. They've always been at the center of people's success. And so, my students, I've tried to give them all of that, and they've given me back so much more. It's absolutely the biggest success in all of this. So, but now I need to make a living from it, and that needs to be my big
right. Absolutely. Look, we wrote the book, we put it out there. Now we have to market it and make it successful. What made you decide to create? Like, what is your why made you create this whole abundance brand? Because all of you is your brand.
Yes. All of me is definitely my brand. And there's such a stigma with preachers about money and scandals and all of that. And I've seen my share of that over the years. And I had some very bad experience with ministers early on in my age. It really made me not have faith. I actually learned faith in my beliefs in my time of being a philosophy major. I tried to disprove everything, and the only thing I couldn't disprove is what I now believe. And in the middle of all of that, I realized I don't need to be paid by my church. At the moment, I've chosen that. I've relied on that for 18 years, but I want to build a church where people don't have to pay for the preacher, and the preacher is open full time with all of them all the same, just like he's paid full time, like I've been. And that's at the center of why I'm doing this. And I love giving to people, and in giving to people, you get given back to in so many incredible ways. And I just don't want that stigma in the groups that I lead. They know that I work and make my money all the same as they do, but I'm still going to be able to make myself available to everybody at the same capacity. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. What do you think is like the most common question you tend to get asked?
About the book or?
About the book.
About the book. The most common question that I've gotten about the book is, gosh, let me think. That's a tough one, actually. Oh, yeah. How long is it going to take for me to make 100,000 a year?
Yes, they say you wrote it. Now, how long is it going to make it?
Yeah, I mean, I think people have to understand this is building a career,
right?
But I have a guy who's been making $2,000, $2,500 a month that I just helped this month, and he just shot himself straight into a $75,000 a year position, and he's on track that next year, if he puts into practice everything that I gave him, he's in a position that he could become the manager of that, and next year be making 100,000 already. Mm-hmm. And so, and I think that's part of what we call the Washington work ethic and the career planning is when you have these skills down, you have the power that you're not aching to find a job. You know the job you want to get, you know what your skills are, and you research the jobs well enough that once you get in the interview, it's on them to see what you're worth and hire you, not the other way around. Most everybody that, like the story I said, is getting upwards of 5, 10, 15 interviews a week after we do their resume. And so, of course, everybody wants to know, how long is it going to take me to get to 100,000? It's typically going to take, like with me, I was hired in the mailroom of the internet company. I went to lunch with people, and I would bribe them with lunch to teach me what they did in their jobs. And when there was an opening, all the guys said, hey, they went to HR and said, hey, we've trained Ron. He's going to be very cheap because he doesn't have the degree and all that stuff, because that was a huge requirement back then. And they said, so there's an opening. We want you to hire Ron, and we'll make sure we give you our word that he'll do a great job. And I got hired, I was making 30,000 a year, and I got hired where I was making like 45,000. But then within 9 months, I was their boss. And so within a year and a half, then I'm right at 6-figure income. And so that's the kind of thing that is possible. And that's for sure what people want most, is to know, how long it's going to take. But how long it takes a person is really geared on their drive and their mastery of the skills that are necessary. The skills that come from these 6 steps are the mastery that needs to be in place for a person. And then they'll shoot up because you're the person everybody goes to. You're the person everybody asks for help. You're the person everybody trusts. You're the most dependable person. You're not complaining, getting into office politics. You're about the business of the company, and you're laser focused on making them money or saving them money once you learn these skills, and you just can't help but fly after that. So
now, for somebody that's trying to figure out life, because this is about somebody that you said that don't have a degree, that trying to get into a job.
Right.
Where do they start? Like, one, how do they even get into your class to be for free? And where do they start with all this? Because at this point they're lost, and all they've been told all their life is you need to finish school, you need to go to college, you need to do this. So where do they start, and how do they get to be able to
Well,
work?
I have a special surprise for you that I didn't tell you about before we got into here. On Monday, I put my book on a promotion for free. So as of right now, people can go on Amazon, search for Ron Harding Hidden Talent. And when it comes up, the ebook is absolutely free. And that's why there's 100 sales in my book in the last 24 hours, because I put the free promotion out there. But that gives them the start. That gives them what they need to start. The book, I believe, is an easy read, and people can get through it. I'm not a reader. I listen. Even my own book, I wrote it, but I actually put it in a little thing that speaks automatically. I let it to me. And even my story, it's proof that you can have a reading disorder and not be able to retain, and you can make it. My father dropped out after 9th grade. He built a $10 million a year business without a degree, and became one of the most awarded people in Los Angeles in the 80s. And he served Ronald Reagan in the White House as a delegate for the Small Business Administration. So these are all great things. I would say buy the book. And in the book, I have a special gift at the back of the book to receive the classes for free. And so everybody that buys my book, I have a set of the classes that are free. And then, of course, I have some paid ones and I have one that if they want to hire me for 2 days, and I'll revolutionize their whole life. The average person that I get with makes a minimum of 10 grand more a year after we're done. And they usually get that job that propels them to that within 2 to 4 weeks as well. And so that's, to me, that's how you do it. The way other companies want you coming back to them, I want to help people and have them never come back to me except to say thank you. I have these are one-time costs. I'm not trying to rope them back into subscriptions year after year after year and whatnot. And I just don't believe that's the way you do business right with people. And if what you do is good, then people love it. They tell people about it, and you have new customers that come that do the same thing in this kind of industry. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Y'all heard it.
Yep.
It's easy. Go get the book. It's free. Hashtag go get the book. It's free. And then in the back of the book, you get the free classes. Yep. Everybody loves free. So there's no excuse, no reason why you shouldn't have this book in your audio, in your Kindle. It's free.
Absolutely.
So y'all better go get that book, because I'm sure.
And then afterwards, they'll want the paid courses after that as well.
Right, absolutely.
So for sure,
let's kind of get into your story, because you said with your story and you have a disability. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you started off and how you got to where you are now.
Okay. Well, growing up, I had very severe migraine headaches. I'd have them 5 to 6 days a week, and when I read, I could never remember what I was reading. I could read it. I could read fluently and whatnot, but retaining what I read was just impossible. And I found the only way I retain is when I hear. So in class, it was funny when I'd be in class, I'd close my eyes and I'd put my head down to just get rid of all distractions. And when I did that, I'd retain almost everything the teacher said. I'd also get in trouble because people would throw things and then point at me, and that created some issues growing up. But my father has dyslexia, and it kept him from being able to read. So he grew up being told he was stupid, that he'd never accomplish anything, and it got him into trouble. It created behavioral issues and all of that. But then here he was. He became the mover that moved all of he did all the logistics for the '84 Olympics, and he built a $10 million a year business. And now he spoke a few times, but then he'd make me get up and get his awards because he didn't want to speak. So, and I think most of the most powerful people in the world have something going on with them. We shouldn't think we're any different than any of those guys. My dad's good friend was Carl Karcher, that founded Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. And Carl was a great guy, but he had his stuff. Mayor Tom Bradley, the first black mayor of Anaheim, he was a great guy, but he had his stuff. Everybody's got something. And I had migraines, and what happened? They have medicine for migraines, right. Medicine for migraine. There's always an answer to our issues. And I think my book, my story, and my career, going from the mailroom to being the CTO of a global nonprofit, is a great story. But it shows anybody can succeed. My father shows anybody can succeed. And he didn't just go do that. He had an accident where both of his legs were amputated. Oh, wow. And he got in the accident, and he, instead of running the people over that were coming head on at him, he turned to the side, and it caused his truck to tip over. He was thrown, and his legs were cut off. And 11 months after his accident, he was such a great employee that the CEO of Global Van Lines gave him $175,000 to start his own agency. And he was on the Mike Douglas show back before Oprah and all those things. He's in Black Enterprise magazine a couple of times, and received every award that you can get as a small business person. And so this book is just the beginning of a three book series that's coming. And this one is how to get that $100,000 a year job. This also works for people who want to start their own businesses. The first student, if you will, outside of business that I had was a young man. His mother and him came from Ghana, and his mother allowed their visa status to expire. And he was 17, he lived his almost entire life here. And he was in college at Portland State University and had to step away because he couldn't get a job because they took his Social Security card. And so I took him under my wing. I taught him how to build websites and some things in the tech industry. And I said, if you start a business, you go down, pay $150 for the business license and for your corporation, then everybody's going to leave you alone, even though you don't have a citizenship. So long as you don't break any laws and you pay taxes as a corporation, nobody's going to touch you. And that young man did that. And he built a business building websites. And then he expanded from there to other tech areas. And then he ended up working for the University of Chicago doing their website. And then they paid for him to get all the degrees that he wasn't able to get when they heard his story. And I teach this. I used to oversee our churches in South Central LA. And we had a lot of really tough situations with people. And it's kind of in the arena where I grew up. I grew up in Seattle in similar situations as downtown LA and South Central LA. And so, I taught these skills to these kids. And there was a lot of people that had been in prison. And I don't believe a person that's been in prison should come out and go work for all the crazy people who are going to take advantage of them after that. I believe they should learn these skills, start their business, go get a business license, grab a polo shirt with a logo, and go out, and nobody's going to ask you about your past. Nobody's going to ask you about all those things. They just want to know you can get the job done. And now the workforce is turning into just wanting to make sure that and know that you can get the job done. So now more than ever, learn these skills. And that's my story. It's my father's story. It's really the story of everyone in my family that came from my grandmother. My grandmother used to do laundry for people in Martha's Vineyard back in Cape Cod. And she actually did laundry for the Kennedys, which was pretty awesome. But then she was tired of working for the man, is how she put it. And she went to work for the post office. When she'd go in, she used to get stopped, like, "Hey, what are you doing here? Why are you coming here at 5 in the morning, at 4 in the morning?" She's like, "I work here." "No, you don't. No, prove to me you work here." And she went through all that stuff, and she ended up the first Black postmaster on the Cape. And it's just I've been blessed with so many incredible people that have overcome all of those things and overcome them, not being victims of anybody, and building their own story, their own legacy. And I think this book will help people do the same. It's my story, and I believe it can be every person's story that takes these teachings to heart.
Absolutely. And and it's crazy because I was going to ask you the question if it's more series to it, and you said that it's a 3-part
Yes,
series. So,
yes.
so you answered the questions. Do you have the titles for the other 2
I
already?
do. I
Oh,
do.
wow. Okay.
So I actually have the manuscript, the
Okay.
first draft done. It's called Hidden Gems. So the first one is Hidden Talent, and is how to find your hidden talent and put it to work. And Hidden Gems is for the employers. It's the new rules of hiring employees who align with your culture, champion your values, and drive profitability. And basically, I'm teaching people to find the people that I train. I'm teaching the companies to find the people I train is basically what I'm doing. And I think the quote that encompasses the book is the power of a workforce lies not in their credentials, but in their capacity to solve problems, to innovate, and to grow alongside the company. And so it's going to take all the same teachings and expand on them from an employer perspective, so that we start changing the corporate culture of how employees are hired, but also how they're treated and valued as people. And then the third book is the biography of my father's life. And it's really where I got all these teachings. This whole series is really an honoring of my father and the things that I've learned from him growing up. And I'm very grateful that he's still alive and he gets to see all this go down. And
Now, how old is your father?
He's 82 years old. Yep, he's 82 years old. And I'm sorry, he just turned 83. He just turned 83. So he's a great businessman. And the title of the third book is Unbelievably Unknown. And it's shocking to me that people don't know who my father is. He walked in every circle of Black business and Black enterprise in the 80s, and helped many people come to places of great careers and businesses during that time. And reading his story will solidify all the things that I teach in both books. He was one of the most incredible bosses. Of course, when you get very powerful in business, politics come into play, and he was put out of business by some bad deals. And yet during those years, when the last year of the business, right before it all just finally ended, he actually spent the whole year paying all of his employees and didn't pay himself for the whole year. And so it's just the kind of heart of a person who cares about people and uses that to make it to the top. So that kind of encompasses the 3-book series that's coming. So Hidden Gems will come last. The biography will come next. And the people that actually buy my courses will get my father's book as part of that. And so, and I have the royalties of that one set to go straight into his bank account to honor him.
Oh, that is super dope. Now, question: what made you wanted to put his before the other part of the Hidden Gems?
Well, he's getting older, and he's run into some challenges, and I want him to have a stream of income that he doesn't have to work for.
Understandable.
And so, yeah, that one's almost done. We're working on the cover and finalizing the copy editing, and then that one will come out.
Excited.
Yeah, and then Hidden Gems in a couple of months. So
when the biography come out, you're gonna have to come back so we can talk
all
about
there. You got it.
Who he is, what he did, dig into the book, read some snippets from it, like do a whole little, a whole thing all about your father and his legacy. Because he sounds impressive and he sounds like he is the hero of how you got to be who you are. So why not? Listen, that'll be
absolutely. Well, I'm honored. Thank you. And I will absolutely be there. I'll let you know when it's done, and you name the day and I'll be there.
Absolutely. So other question for you.
Yes.
Where do you see yourself in the next year?
In the next year, I see myself having the full blown courses out, and we haven't really launched the courses yet. Right now, when you click to find out more on my website, it takes you to the free promotion that I have going on right now. And about a month from now, the classes will really launch, and we'll do webinars every week with the classes. And then there'll be one webinar with the class and a second one with coaching call with everybody that's part of the program. And so I see myself in a year that has grown and made its way around the country. But then a year, my hope and plan is that I will have a nonprofit. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so I plan to start a nonprofit that I can give these teachings to the homeless community and all the people that have need. Anybody that's on any level of government support, I would like to make sure that I do these programs for free. And by that time, I hope to have 3 or 4 coaches that can do what I do, so that we can serve the community here in Dallas-Fort Worth. And so those are my goals in the first year.
Now, with that, would your nonprofit, would it be virtually for people or just for the people in Dallas?
I will have both. So at that point, my courses will be going virtually. And I think when I hit Dallas, hopefully I'll get a fair amount of media coverage here in the next few months, that we can turn that into a program that we do live, but is also virtual for people as a webinar.
Amazing.
I'm from the media industry, so I have all the equipment to do it already. I just
see, already prepped and ready. Working in that IT field. Like you said, you said you was the one that did the stuff for BT and all those things.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
See, being able to already did that, you learned it. So now you can just do it for yourself. And actually, do you teach other people how to do all the media things as well?
I do.
Okay.
And in fact, we've had 70 churches in 160 nations. And during the pandemic, I had to do a fair amount of instruction with everybody on how to do virtual services. So I made a whole process of each church buying 4 cameras, creating 4 recording stations, and getting the proper microphones, and pre-recording all the services and all the parts of the services and the singing and everything, and then making that into one video and then broadcasting it as a live stream. There's several services you can just upload your video and say when you want it to start as a live stream. And so my church services, I got to sit in my own church services and participate in the chat. And we did fellowship through the chat during that time. But that was a lot of teaching. I've taught a lot of people around the world how to do live events and whatnot. So
it kept you busy though during COVID though. It kept you busy, and it kept you it kept you teaching, which got you to where you are now. So it is definitely all levels to everything. Right. Is there any last things that you would like to tell them about your book that just came out? Any other information you would like to give them, and then tell them how to reach out to you, and how to work with you.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. In my paid programs, I do have a guarantee. So if the person doesn't get at least as good of a job as they already received, but also have a path to a higher career, then I will give them all the money back for what they pay in the programs. And then as well, I think, college has failed America. We all know it. Everybody that's got a loan, a student loan, feels it. It's the way that it's the money. It's the one loan that nobody can get out from under. And that I think we have a new American dream that's coming. And it's an American dream where everybody can work from home and make a fair wage. And in this case, everybody needs to make at least 6 figures in this world. And I think we're just kicking off with starting the minimum of what everybody around the country really needs. And so I'll be fighting for that throughout this whole process, that corporate America steps up and really pays people what they need to make. And the book with Hidden Gems, I'm promising corporate America the type of employees that they want, but they will not take advantage of them. And so that's the things that are coming in my book. If you want to reach me, my website is ronharding.com, and there is a link to contact me, and I have a public number that I give to everybody, and it is 682-730-0085, and you can reach me and text me anytime. I won't be answering that phone when you call, but I'll return calls and I will respond to every text sent to me. So that's how you reach me. And you can find all of my books on Ron Harding on Amazon, and Hidden Talent, then Hidden Gems, and Unbelievably Unknown if you want to read about my dad in about a month.
Thank you. Thank you. Because you leave the people with one positive affirmation that they may carry into themselves for the rest of the week and maybe for the rest of the month.
No matter what has happened to you, no matter what problems you have had in your life, there is always an answer to be able to find success. And not just a monetary success, but to be fulfilled and to find your full potential and to find the people that value that. So have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ron. Everybody, this has been an excellent interview. I hope y'all caught the gems. Go buy the book. Matter of fact, go get the free copy. It's free. It's free till when?
It's free till Friday. So you got 2 more days.
Y'all got 2 more days to go get the book. And then once you get the book, you got a free class to get into. There's no reason why you shouldn't be making 6 figures. He's giving you the information. It's free and you don't have to pay for it. So I'm telling you guys.
Email ron@ronharding.com.
There you go. And email.
And you'll have me live.
So there y'all go. I'm giving you all the basic information to get where y'all need to go. This is why we're here. As always, I thank you, Ron, for being here. It's been a pleasure to having you here. Like I said, when book 2 comes out, we will be ready to talk about your father and all the great things that he have done. Anytime, any place, we're ready to hear it all. As always, guys, I thank you for tuning in to The Power in Your Voice. This has been your host, Dr. Sheena Gadine, better known as the lady behind the mask. We are always here to educate, motivate, and inspire. You know, you can find me on Facebook as Dr. Sheena Gadine. You can find me on Instagram as Lady Behind the Mask 22. And you can always find me on my website, www.sheenaunmaskedmotivation.com. I thank you, and everybody, y'all have a great night. I'll catch y'all next time.
Thank you.